Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mass Retirees Weekly Update. Today's Friday, August 18th. I'm Sean Duhamel. Thank you so much for joining with us and tuning in again this week. Now this week I want to give you a little bit of a preview of our upcoming Mass Retirees meetings through the fall of 2023, right into the early winter months. We don't have our 2024 meeting schedule nailed down yet, but I want to give you a little bit of a sense of what's coming. As we said earlier this year, we are fully getting back to our full schedule of area meetings. We had taken a hiatus, of course, during the height of the pandemic. Last year and early into 2023, we began to ease back into things again with getting back out there around Massachusetts. We had one meeting in Florida, in Pompano Beach this past winter. We skipped the West Coast, of course, because of just getting back into the swing of things, coming out of the pandemic, but also most importantly, the recovery that's been underway along the Gulf Coast of Florida because of last year's hurricane. Now, hopefully, we don't have that problem again, fingers crossed. But speaking of Florida, and I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but for those of you who are Florida residents, and we have thousands of Mass Retirees members who are year-round Florida residents, and we have countless more who go down to Florida as so-called snowbirds to escape the winter up here in the Northeast. And we have traditionally held meetings on both the East Coast and West Coast of Florida. And over the past decade or so, we've seen a shift in terms of where people are going. It used to be a very heavy concentration in Miami and Dade County area, Broward County, the same thing in the Tampa-St. Pete area. And we've been able to use some mapping software where we've loaded in our database and we can look at a map of Massachusetts or a map of Florida and pinpoint exactly where the areas are that retirees are living in today. And this doesn't account for the snowbirds because we don't have the addresses that you're gonna escape to for a few months a year, but we do know where our Florida members are living. So as a result of that study, we're gonna add some additional meetings for this upcoming 2024 meeting cycle to make it a little bit easier for you to be able to get to our area meetings and also make it worthwhile for us. If we're going to spend your money and take the time and effort to travel outside of Massachusetts to meet with our members, it's important for us to meet with you where you in fact live and where you are, or else it's really no point to it. So early in the November newsletter, we should have a Florida advance, so you have a sense of when we're going to be down, but right now we're targeting early February for the East Coast meetings and early March for the West Coast meetings. And we are adding a meeting in the greater Orlando area. We know from the research that we've recently done that we have a huge concentration of members living in and around the Orlando area. So we're looking at is trying to find a location just north of Orlando, but still pretty close to Orlando, so we're able to encompass anyone living within an hour to an hour and a half of Orlando itself. And that will be part of our West Coast swing, which will most likely take place during the first week of March. So if you are living in the Orlando area and you see this email or get today's email or you're watching this video, feel free to reach out to myself or Leo Delaney in our office. He's our event coordinator. We're looking for some suggestions of places we can meet. And again, in or around the greater Orlando area, with the preference being just on the north side of Orlando. And what we need in terms of a venue, and any of you who have been to one of our meetings, hopefully this will make sense. But someplace that's easy to find, close to the highway, easy on and easy off, plenty of parking, easy access to the building, that it's either handicap accessible or is going to be easy for our members to be able to access. And also that the venue can accommodate somewhere between 150 to 200 people, but 150 at the minimum. So feel free to reach out. I know many of our members are members of private clubs, whether it be the Elks, the Kiwanis, the VFW, the American Legion, or the countless other organizations that are out there. Those are the types of places that we love to meet. We would much rather do business with a local organization or a neighborhood association, or in the case of Pompano Beach, we meet at the Pompano Beach Civic Center, which is a municipal facility, and they do a fantastic job. So those are the kinds of places that we would prefer to meet rather than in a hotel conference room. At times, we have no other choice but to utilize local hotels, but our preference would be some type of a private club or local organization that we would much prefer to do business with those types of entities. So here in Massachusetts, over the coming, say, 4 months, starting on September 22nd, going all the way to December, we're going to hold 6 area meetings throughout Massachusetts just in the coming months. Again, that kicks off on September 22nd with our annual meeting. This year it will be held down in Mansfield, Mass. As I recently mentioned, the locations that we had been holding the area meeting over the past 10 or 15 years at both Lombardo's and Lantana in Randolph, those facilities have either closed or are in the process of closing, and they're no longer holding events that could accommodate a group like us. So unfortunately, we've had to relocate. We found a new venue down in Mansfield. It's called the Envision Hotel and Conference Center. It is very conveniently accessed off of I think Route 95 in Mansfield. I'm actually traveling down there today myself to see the location and get a feel for the layout and so forth, so we can prepare for that meeting. But following up from our annual meeting, we then have another 4 meetings across Massachusetts, one being in Plymouth on Friday, October 13th. On Thursday, October 19th, we will be out in Pittsfield, Mass. for the first time since 2019. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic and then just phasing things back in over the past year, we haven't been to Berkshire County in now 4 years, so I am very much looking forward to getting back out to Pittsfield and seeing our friends in Berkshire County. But we will be at the Crowne Plaza once again on Thursday, October 19th, which is actually my daughter's 21st birthday, so happy birthday, Abby. But that meeting has a unique start time. It's 1 p.m. Our traditional start times for our in-person meetings is 11 a.m., but because we wanted to provide a little bit more time for Frank and I to drive out to Pittsfield, the start time for the Pittsfield meeting will be 1 o'clock, so please make note of that. Then on Friday, October 20th, we'll be again at the Storrowtown Tavern in West Springfield. It's on the fairgrounds of the Big E. Another very easy location to get to. We had our first meeting there last fall. They did a great job, took great care of us, so we'll be back again on Friday the 20th. And then on Friday, November 17th, we will be down at Whites of Westport, which has been our traditional South Coast meeting location for probably 35 or 40 years at this point or longer. That's again in Westport, Mass, very easy to access. And anyone who's familiar with the South Coast, and undoubtedly you know about Whites. And then our final meeting of the year, which we have not set an official date for yet, will take place in Auburn, Mass, and that will be in early December at the Auburn Elks, which again is a very easy location to get to. We're also holding a teletown hall meeting that will be on Friday, September 29th. The start time of all of our teletown halls is again at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We want to make sure that we're providing you with the opportunity, if you live outside of Massachusetts, in a different time zone, for instance, that we're giving you the opportunity to be able to participate in our teletown hall meetings. That's one of the reasons why we have decided that even though we're starting to meet in person again, which is wonderful, it's one of my favorite parts of my job, is being able to get out there and meet with you in person and look you in the eye. It makes a huge difference. But I know that not all of our members are able to get to meetings, even if you live here in Massachusetts. It might not fit your schedule. You might not be able to physically get to a meeting. So we want to make sure that we're accessible to everybody, regardless of where you live or what your circumstances are. That's why we're going to continue the town hall meetings, and that's why we have an early afternoon start time to try to be able to accommodate everybody's schedule as best we can. So that teletown hall meeting on September 29th will feature a special guest. We'll have Michael Trotsky, who is the Executive Director and Chief Investment Officer for the Mass Prit Fund. He heads up the Prim board. They do a fantastic job of investing nearly $100 billion in retirement assets at this point. Michael was our guest on a teletown hall maybe roughly 2 years ago. That was a big hit, so we're looking forward to Michael joining us once again, talking a little bit about what's been happening at Pritt, what their outlook is going forward over the next several months or going into 2024, but also to give you the opportunity to ask some questions and have a little bit more peace of mind that your very valuable retirement assets are being well taken care of. So that's something for us to look forward to. We're going to have a very busy fall. We're going to take a hiatus over the next 2 weeks from our videos and emails. This will be the last email you get from us prior to Labor Day. We will be back to you again on Friday, September 8th to kick off our fall season. We're expecting a lot of activity in the legislature where we are heavily focused on advancing a COLA base increase for the coming fiscal year, and we'll have more to say on that topic in the coming weeks and months as things move forward. But there's just going to be a lot of activity, as there always is within the fall. Now, one last point before I sign off for today. If you're watching this video on either YouTube or on Facebook, if you could do us a favor and like and follow both of those pages. So you would become a follower on our Facebook page, like the video as well, but also become a follower on our Facebook page. Both YouTube and Facebook are essential tools to allow us to communicate with you in a very rapid fashion. I know that we have now well over 1,000 members following us on YouTube alone. Both YouTube and Facebook are free. I know that it's not for everybody. A lot of folks have shied away from social media, so you're no longer on Facebook, but that's why we're very active on YouTube. But we want to make sure that we're getting this information to you as quickly as possible, and these are just two great tools that allow us to be able to do that. So give us a like, follow the page, and I hope you're enjoying the content that we're sending out every week. And most of all, I hope you're enjoying the summer, enjoying these last 2 weeks of August. And we will be back to you again just after Labor Day on Friday, September 8th to kick things off. In the meantime, be well, everybody. Thank you so much.